Yes, guys, and a welcome from me. This is Championship Manager 0102, King of the Dugout, Part 6. We've come to the end of November, so 4 months in now, and it's really starting to shape up. It really is. So I wanted to do this in a way that I do no giveaways. For those of you that are not on Facebook or haven't seen the update, we'll start then in this particular order of alphabetical. AC Runmansion. That, of course, is run by Jesper Ronman. Not a bad month, so to speak. He did lose his opening couple of games, but he had a good recovery. I think he'll be a little bit pissed off, particularly because he lost the last game of last month. So he lost 3 on the bounce against human opposition. Welcome to the real world, my son. But you know, as you can see, he's 5th in the table. And, you know, he's still, I mean, he's got a lot of teams are having to deal with injuries now. And, of course, with this being Season 1, it's difficult because they've not got the big squads. Now, of course, Runmansion have got they have got the biggest squad out of everybody. Maybe not full of quality, but they've got a little bit of depth to work with. And as you can see, Southgate and Lennon are both out. Let's have a look. Lennon 3 weeks, so he's out for most of next month. Southgate's out for 10 days. He'll probably name him anyway. That being said, he didn't name him before, 672. Camark, he's out for a week. Giuseppe Signori, he's out for a few days. Who knows? Who knows what we'll see? Over to D Generation X, Stuart Danton. Well, we've got a bit to say on this wanker. No, I'm only joking. Stuart had a very good month. You can see now he's up to 4th in the table. And a 4-2 victory over Runmanshire, and he'll be really hacked off with that draw against Wimbledon. I feel that any of our guys will be pissed off when they don't beat AI, because it's the human managers that are the important ones, that are the trickier ones. But more about Stuart Danton afterwards. But in terms of injuries, he's only got Cesar to look at, who's possibly going to miss most of this next month. Now, let me remind you that this next month is a busy month, particularly for those that are still in the League Cup. It's December, you've got a lot of games. You know, and you just need to hope that you haven't had too many injuries. He's not so bad, Stuart. Over to the Dark Destroyers, Matt Collier-Brown. Well, his injuries is there for you to see. And I did look at this. Amar is 3 months. He'll be fucking devastated at that. Amar 3 months and Gronkier 3 weeks. I didn't see Alfonso, 10 days. So, yeah, he's got problems in terms of what to do for this month. That being said, it was a great month for Matt. But again, a bit like what I said a minute ago about AI, you know, he started off the month with a good victory over Sunday Strikers. Then he had all AI games and he lost to Preston. He'll be fucking furious about that. Beat Gillingham, he beat Wednesday and Stockport, all AI, and he scraped through on the League Cup against Trump Towers. Maybe a bit undeserved, but you know, he won't give a shit, particularly after the defeat against Preston. If I was Matt, I'd be fucking raging at that. Absolutely raging. Because those 3 points, I mean, he said to me beforehand, he's confident if he can get at least 12 points from the 15. And if it weren't for that bullshit Champ Man game there, he'd have had 15 out of 15. But, yeah, he's got to obviously make a decision what he's going to do for the next month ahead. Over to Dunthorpe, Ross Horn. Let's have a look. Ross then, he's got One injured for 10 days. He can deal with that. Carboni for a few days. And today, he's okay for injuries. He's in 11th in the table. And let's have a look at his month then. Starting from Man City. Drew with AI Man City. He only had 4 games. Some only had 4 for whatever reason. 4-3 victory over Sheffield Wednesday. A defeat against D Generation X. And a nice victory over Sam's Bastards, who we will get to afterwards. So Ross, you know, it's still early days yet. Early days in terms of the playoffs. He may well just have sort of like give up on promotion because he's being very mid-table at the minute. He started off a bit shit in the opening months, but loads of time. The Dutch Warriors now, Mark Rutgers. Now, Mark Rutgers, this is an interesting one because I looked at this. So he beat Stockport, he scraped past Runmansion, he beat AI Grimsby, he lost to Preston, so he only had 4 league games as well, and he went out the League Cup to AI. So let's have a look at that. I've not looked at that. Yeah, a little bit harsh. But the defeat against Preston, of course, Preston, the team that champ-manned Matt's Dark Destroyers, they did the same to the Dutch Warriors. So I think he'll be a little bit fucked off. No doubt about that. Sylvester's out for a couple of weeks, and Guerrera is out for a week. Melito is also out for 1 day. Well, we'll see. We'll see what he decides, shall we? The Dutch Warriors are done. Over to Glasgow United. Well, he's got injuries. Look at that. I hadn't seen this. Fuck me. He's down in 8th. Let's just take a look at his month first. Sharpshooters, he beat them. He beat Sam's Bastards. He lost to Soylent Green. He beat Stockport and he drew to Man City. Not a bad month, to be honest with you, for William McGregor, but the injuries are a huge worry. 3 weeks for Carlos, which is basically the whole month. Joe Cole, 2 weeks. He must have been out at the... Was he out at the start of the season? Yeah. He was a youngster, weren't he? This was a youngster, Yakubu. And he must have been out at the start. I can't remember him being out at the start of the season, actually. No, of course he weren't. No, because he's played games. Oh, mate, that is bad. We said Amar was bad for Dark Destroyers. Yakubu is out for 6 months with a slipped disc. What's his... His injury prone isn't exactly the worst in the world, but that's really brutal. And he was a youngster, to be fair. Nick Chadwick, 10 days. Yardell, 1 day. You know, maybe not as bad as it first looked. Bit of work to you to do, William. Bit of work to do. Okay, over to North London is red. Gary Hanks, a couple of injuries. Iger Stimac, 3 months. Fucking hell. Okay, so 3 months. It is what it is. It is what it is. Tretshock, 1 month, so he's going to have to make... well, none of those guys were in his lineup, to be honest with you. Okay, so for Gary, let's have a look where it started. He lost to Soylent Green, he lost to Watford, he lost to Run Mansion, he got thrashed in Generation, he beat Grimsby. Gary, you need to sort it out. Sort it out. You've got physios before you say anything. You've got physios. Yeah, you've got some work to do, Gary. You really have. You are still 10th, though, so still within a chance. Pageant Rangers, Trevor Choi. Leonardo's out injured for 2 months. And Owen Hargreaves for 1 day. So he's 13th. He's struggling, it's fair to say. There is some positive news about Pageant Rangers. We'll get to that in a moment. Forest he lost to. Look at that. He lost to Forest. He beat Gillingham. He lost to Wednesday. He lost 2 to AI. You know, it's not enough. It's not good enough. He beat Everton. He's in the League Cup quarterfinals. We'll get more into the League Cup in a moment. A draw with Degeneration and a defeat against Trump Towers. Awful month for our very own Trevor Choi. Over to Perfectico Madrid. Riding high, 2nd in the table for our very own Noel Draper, aka Trunky. Gullimer is serving a suspension. Abelardo, 2 weeks. Anderson, a month. He's going to have to do a little bit of work, isn't he? He really is. Have a look at his month, how it went then. He beat Chelsea. No, sorry. It started with Wimbledon. He beat Wimbledon. He beat Chelsea in the Cup. That was the 3rd round. He lost to Soylent Green, which was a big game. He beat Stockport. He beat Man City in the League Cup. He lost to Trump Towers and he lost to Sharpshooters. He'll be happy with his League Cup progression, but he'll be pissed off with his league. But he's still in 2nd. He's still in 2nd. And... you know, that's the objective, I feel, maybe, for him at this point, is to try and hold into the top 2. I think everyone's objective will possibly have been top 6. Over to Sam's Bastards. How on earth Sam hasn't been sacked is beyond me, because he lost all his games in November, albeit he had 4, but he lost them all. Watford, Glasgow United, Wimbledon, Dunthorpe. You know, I don't know how he survived. De Paula is injured for 2 weeks, and... Arazambal is for 2 weeks, but it looks like you've got Etex Beria back now. Excuse me, he was injured, weren't he? So Sam's going to have to make some severe changes. No doubt about that. More about his insecurity in a moment. Over to Lee Sharples, Sharpshooters. 6th in the table, hanging into the playoffs. And his month, he lost to Glasgow. He lost to Glasgow United. He beat Sunday Strikers. He lost to AI. He beat Forest, and then he beat Perfetico. That was an absolute brilliant result over Perfetico. Oh, that's why he beat Perfetico. Oh, shit. That's harsh on Perfetico. Having your goalie red carded is just a kick in the teeth. Didn't really capitalise shots-wise, but that's why he won. But do you know what? Lee Sharples won't give a shit. It's all about winning. Good luck in your next game, though, which is at the start of the month. He's away to Soylent Green. More about them in a moment. Over to Soylent Green, our league leaders. Soylent Green, run by Almo, a.k.a. Evesham, His month started with a victory over North London is Red. A brilliant victory over Atletico Madrid. That was a close game, weren't it? That was a real tight game, but he took it. A 2-1 victory over Glasgow United. A progression in the League Cup. Defeat to AI and a draw with AI. He'll be fucking seething. He'll be seething. A draw would have been a fair result, but to lose to AI, let's have a look at this draw as well. Fucking hell, he'll be pissed off. He'll be really, really pissed off. That being said, he is still top, and he's got a big month ahead of him. Sharpshooters, Dark Destroyers in the League Cup, Run Mansion, Dunthorpe. Well, let's see. Who knows how that's going to go. 2 to go now. Sunday Strikers, Philippe Derolla. Let's see how he finished up then. Dark Destroyers, he lost to Sharpshooters. He beat AI back-to-back, but then he went out to AI Man United. Now, Man United, let me just point out, are AI. They are the team that I've got in as the Football Association, but their holiday is that they can buy players, etc., etc. It's about, that they can buy players, so there's no sort of restrictions on that. In terms of injuries, got Mark Kerr for 2 weeks. I think he'll look to regroup. He will look to regroup, no doubt about that. And finally, over to Trump Towers, Miga Dante. What a fucking month from him, because I'd already looked at this, and he won all his league games, 5 wins out of 5. A bit pissed off, I'm sure he'll be, to have exited out the League Cup on penalties. But it's all about the league. And of course, the AI victories are important. As you can see, all 2-1. Victories over Atletico Madrid and a victory at Pageant Rangers. Let's have a look at that Atletico Madrid. Again, another tough defeat for Atletico. Like, they only just lost. But this next month is massive for Mr. Dante. DX Generation, D-Generation X, Dutch Warriors, North London is Red, Sam's Bastard, Glasgow United. What a month. What an absolute month. So this is the table. We've got 14 players, and there's the 13 of them. And of course, Sam's Bastards are languishing in the relegation. Jesus Christ. How on earth Sam's not been sacked is fucking beyond me. And I'll tell you why. Because that is now our job information. Gary Hanks is still on there. Mark Rutgers is still on there. Sam Wheatley was very insecure. He should have been sacked, in my opinion. Of course, let me remind you that if anyone does endure a sacking, they will be re-added, but they will be given a £1 million fine for next season. William McGregor has now joined the list as insecure. Philippe Derolla, insecure. Trevor Choi, slightly insecure. 6 of our 14 managers. It's not looking good, is it? It's not looking good. I mean, Gary Hanks, I think that's a brutal one. That really is an absolute brutal one for him. Mark Rutgers as well. It's quite harsh. I mean, the 9th and 10th, but then you don't see anything to do with Ross Horn. Ross Horn, I mean, it's interesting. It's almost like it's got to be a top 6, and I think that's everyone's objective. But it is what it is. Now, this next thing, right, is really bizarre. Manager of the month, Stuart Danton. He takes it for the 2nd time this season. Now, don't get me wrong, Stuart Danton did have a good month, but it weren't as good as Miga Dante's, in my opinion. Maybe, I don't know, there is other things that they take into account. I don't know. But you know what? Who gives a fuck? Deal with it, Dante. Danton, congratulations. And as you know, Mr. Danton, you will get some additional money added to your funds, which will be calculated at the end of the season for every award you win or your player. Now, that's important that I said that, because Anthony Lerlin of D-Generation X, of course, managed by Stuart Danton. That is a bit more money coming into the bank for him. He'll be very, very pleased with that. And I said that there was a little bit of luck, good fortune for Pageant Rangers. Mido took the Young Player of the Month. I'm not sure how he did that, considering they had a shit month, but he won't care. He will get in. He'll get himself a little bit of an extra bit of money. There's going to be no money for Team of the Week, guys. It will be Team of the Year as and when it comes. Okay? We'll have that as well. I think we need to have the manager of the year. I think we need to do a manager of the year. I need to have a discussion with HQ about that. The manager of the year, the players' team of the year. Yeah. So the manager of the year, I think we need to go to that. A 1st, 2nd, 3rd, maybe. Now remember, I don't know how CM what they work it on, but they will take into account if you've had a good cup run. It won't be a massive amount. Don't fucking get carried away. Let's have a look at the League Cup then. The League Cup Well, we concluded the third round, as you saw. I forget who it was. Was it Trunky or somebody? But this is where we're at now. And the fourth round finished like this then. Sunday Strikers lost to Man United. Let's just take a look at the stats on that. Deserved to go. Pathetica Madrid, brilliant result there against Man City. We've looked at that one there. Soylent Green, the runaway leaders, deserved place into the quarterfinals. Everton 0, Paget Rangers 1. This is what I mean by AI not having as great a squad. I mean, Everton have bought all those players. They've bought them all. There you see. And that's what will happen at the start of next season when we do a fresh save. They will have to buy players. The only players that will be at AI at the start of next, apart from what they buy, are players that they might get on a CPU bid. CPU bid, for those of you that don't know what CPU bid is, at the end of the season, each of you guys will have 5 players picked at random with a random generator, courtesy of King of the Dugout headquarters. And those 5 players at random, don't worry, you're not going to lose them. There'll be an offer for them. There'll be an offer. An offer based on their value, based on their season. Those players will be picked at random on a random generator. So it could be an offer that you just can't, it's too hard to refuse. And you can cash in. Could be one of these shit players, and so on and so on. Now, when they do go, if you accept, you don't have to. Let's say it'll be a generator. Let's say Liverpool have bid for, hypothetically, Veron. Just hypothetically. Liverpool have bid for Veron. And let's say Philippe Dirala accepts it. Veron will go to Liverpool, and he will be in the Liverpool team. So that's that. Sorry, back to the League Cup. Leeds 3, Dutch Warriors 2. Oh, that's harsh. That was harsh. Really fucking brutal. But the quarterfinal draw is made. Let me remind you, you have to get to the final to get some prize money. But let me also remind you, if you do win it, you are going into Europe next season. That, of course, is fucking huge. Huge, huge, huge. The very best of luck, though, with you guys. Pathetica are at Leicester. You've got to fancy him to beat Leicester. I can't imagine Leicester have they've brought loads of players. But Antonio Casado. Oh, they got Batistuta. Oh, wow. They brought Batistuta. Antonio Casado. Little Beckham. Shit, you've got a harder game than what I give you credit for. You really have. They've got some fucking great players, haven't they? I don't know if it's... that'll be an interesting one. Paget Rangers take on Leeds. Let's see who Leeds have got. That's how ironic's that. They brought Alan Smith. Michael Owen. Clarence Save. Let me remind you guys. These players that you see before you could well pop up in the next set of auctions at the end of the season. It could be next season, it could be the season after. There's 5 seasons of auctions all lined up, courtesy of HQ, Mark Whittaker. So AI probably a bit more... I didn't know how AI would respond to release them all, but they do. They fucking do. Look at them all. That's fucking crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, the League Cup then, and I believe that's going to be this month, as we said. Yeah, it'll be at the start of the month. And then the semi-final will take place next month. At least they'll start. Now, of course, we know that we're going to see... Okay. Yeah, so we've got 2 there. Now, we know that we're going to see either Dark Destroyers or Soylent Green into the semis. And it's going to be great to see one of you guys, riding high. It really is. But let's take a look now then. Let's have a look at a few... player stats. This is just for league, bear in mind. Alain Boksic is still leading the way. 12 goals in 16, 8.29. There's absolutely nothing I can do about this. Unhappy not being able to move clubs, because obviously any offer that comes in for Boksic, Degeneration during holiday mode will reject it. That's the deal. I don't like it. I think it's shit, and it's something that you can't control. It is shit, but do you know what? Who gives a... Because I don't believe, right? I mean, let's have a look now then. It says very, because I've got the 4th column of attributes. You can't see the form. So let's have a look at Boksic a minute. Let's have a look at morale. Just 1 minute. Alain Boksic. There, it's very good. It's very good. So it doesn't affect the form. It really don't. Pinero, I was looking at him before. He didn't actually have that great a month this campaign, but then Pathetico didn't, did they? Michael Moles, remember him? He's having a good old run. Tomasi at Soylent Green. Look at that. I mean, you just look and you look at if there's any that stand out. That's interesting. Whoever the fuck this guy is that Crystal Palace have brought. So obviously Crystal Palace, I mean, we're going to have to look at the AI. So look at the AI. They start from Crystal Palace as it happens. Sam has got to do something special on his tactics. I don't even think, right, I mean, how he didn't get sacked is just fucking beyond me. It really is. It's crazy. It really is. Let's have a look at the goals. The leading goal scorer, Filippo Inzaghi in the league. 15 for North London is red, which is great to see, considering there's not much to celebrate for Gary Hanks. But he'll be pleased with that. He'll be pleased with that. Now, just as I said about the CPU bids, if the random player that's picked for North London is red is Filippo Inzaghi, the fact that he has scored 18 goals is going to contribute to what could be a substantial offer. You never know. It's going to be something like, don't quote me exactly, something like his value, so not his auto value, that'll be auto value, for the benefit of those guys that have asked me to set the value to something, it will be auto value plus an extra amount for every goal and assist, or something like that. So potentially it could be an absolute monster offer. They will be complete random, just like the youth players were. Just like the youth players were, it's completely random. That's what we use a random generator for. And then Sigalko, now that's interesting. Mr. Dante, we spoke, didn't we? About Maximin Sigalko. 10 in 13. Yeah, it's tricky. Bit like, you know what I said about you can't do anything about players being unhappy? Same with that, you cannot do anything about it. Let me just have a look at something. Mr. Dante, I did see this actually. Ronaldo's now injured. So that could be quite interesting in your selection. Shit, I forgot to look at your injuries, didn't I? Fran a week, and you got a suspension there as well. 5 yellow cards. Okay, let's go to any more conceded. Well, it had to be Sam's bastard. It had to be Sam's, didn't it? It really did. Penalties, Filippo Inzaghi, he scored 4 from 4. Assists. Oh, that's interesting. That was interesting. I didn't realise that. Poborski at Run Mansion. I mean, again, you know, the CPU, this is what you guys got to look at. If Poborski is picked, you know, it could be one of your youth players that you got. Who knows? Yellow cards, 6. Well, yeah, that's mounting up a little bit, isn't it? Red cards, 2 for Van Bommel. Fucking hell. Man of the Match Awards, Robbie Keane. Don't quote me on this. Could be a bonus of Man of the Match Awards as well. I'm going to propose to HQ that there will be, because I think that's important. So, Robbie Keane. There could be a massive offer for Robbie Keane if you take into account 9 goals, 9 assists and 6 goals. And he's worth 15. That's not an auto value. That's not auto value. I remember Almo asking me to set his value. So it'll be his auto value. So if it's Roy Keane, we're not even sure if it's going to be 5 players yet. Between 3 and 5, something like that. And that is it, guys. That is basically it. Hope you enjoyed it on the next instalment. And until next time, it's take it easy.